New footage of Steve Kerr coaching LeBron James is going viral, and it's fueling fresh speculation that LeBron could end up with the Warriors. But that's not all. Kerr has now made a comment that's sending the speculation into overdrive. Let me break it down. So here's how it started. Steve Kerr is sitting in traffic. Windows down, a fan spots him, and instead of asking for a picture, he goes straight for it. He shouts across the street, asking Kerr point blank when the Warriors are finally getting LeBron James. And Kerr doesn't hesitate. He doesn't laugh it off. He doesn't give the standard "we'll see what happens" line coaches usually hide behind. Instead, the fan calls out, we need to get LeBron, man. We need LeBron." And Kerr immediately replies, "Oh, we got him. Put that on Twitter." 4 words. "Oh, we got him." And then he tells the guy to put it on Twitter himself, like he wants this out there. Within minutes, the clip is everywhere. Hoop Central posted it, and Warriors supporters rapidly shared the clip across social media, with many interpreting the coach's comment as a hint that Golden State had already secured James. This wasn't some grainy paparazzi shot either. It was clean audio, close range, no mistaking what he said. Fans on Warriors forums lost it instantly. One fan's reaction summed up the panic and the hope in the same breath. The idea that if Kerr was joking and it didn't happen, the whole front office would never live it down. That's the sentiment fans were posting. All I'm saying is, after all this, if he doesn't end up coming, this entire organization will never be taken seriously again. Other fans were convinced Kerr had just outmaneuvered every insider covering the league. The joke going around was that Steve Kerr owns shams. He's not playing. A jab at the fact that the league's most plugged-in reporter hadn't broken this. A head coach had from behind a steering wheel. Now here's the thing that made this different from every other rumor this offseason. This wasn't Kerr getting cornered by a reporter with a microphone shoved in his face during a scheduled availability. This was candid, unscripted, a guy just driving to wherever he was going, getting flagged down, and instead of the usual diplomatic non-answer, he leans into it. In the video, Kerr is seen driving up to a traffic light, and when the fan asks for them to sign LeBron James, Kerr's response goes viral instantly. And what makes it stick in your head is the tone. It's not defensive. It's not annoyed. It's almost gleeful, like a guy who's been sitting on something and finally gets to say it out loud, even if it's dressed up as a joke. Naturally, the league's reporters can't just let this sit either. Multiple outlets picked it up within hours. One report framed it as Kerr possibly having just leaked the whole thing by accident, noting that in a clip that hit social media on the evening, it appears that the Warriors coach may have leaked that his squad got him, raising the question of whether James is going to be playing alongside Curry. But nobody could actually confirm anything. That's the tension driving the entire story right now. At the time of publication, it wasn't clear if Kerr was serious or was simply making a quick joke for the fans. Still, you don't just brush off a head coach saying his team got the most scrutinized free agent of the decade. Not when that same coach has spent the last calendar year building an actual relationship with James, one that didn't exist in this form before. Because here's the twist most casual fans miss when they see this clip. Kerr isn't just some rival coach making a joke about a guy he's never worked with. He's coached LeBron James before, for real, on the biggest stage there is. That's why this clip hit different. It wasn't a stranger commenting on a stranger. It was a coach with actual insider knowledge of how LeBron operates up close, joking or maybe not joking about bringing him into his own building. And that's exactly where this story needs to rewind to. Because before there was a car window and a viral clip, there was a practice gym in Las Vegas, a locker room in Paris, and a coach discovering firsthand exactly what it's like to have LeBron James on his side of the whiteboard, instead of across from it. Rewind about 2 years. Steve Kerr isn't the coach trying to recruit LeBron James anymore. He's already got him. Team USA, Paris Olympics, summer of 2024. For the first time in his career, the man who had spent years game planning against LeBron in the NBA Finals is standing on the same sideline as him. And by Kerr's own account, it changed how he saw the guy entirely. At Team USA's very first training camp practice out in Las Vegas, Kerr watched LeBron go through a full-speed session and turned to his assistant coaches in something close to disbelief. He asked Ty Lue and Erik Spoelstra straight up if what he was seeing was normal. Kerr said he was blown away by how hard LeBron practices, and when he asked the assistant coaches if this was normal, they told him it happens every single day. He pushed further, asking Spoelstra specifically about years earlier, when Spoelstra first got LeBron in Miami. The answer was the same. Spoelstra told him it was every day, every drill, every walkthrough. This is a guy who was 39 years old at the time. Most players are winding down by then, coasting through practices to save their legs for games. Not LeBron. And Kerr, who had coached some of the most decorated champions in league history back in Golden State, was still stunned watching this in person. He didn't hide how much he was enjoying the flip side of the rivalry either. After years of trying to scheme against James in the finals, Kerr openly admitted the obvious upgrade. He said he felt incredibly honored to be coaching LeBron, and that it's definitely way better to coach him than to coach against him. That sentiment kept showing up throughout the Olympics run. Kerr wasn't just managing LeBron as a talent, he was studying him, comparing him to the only other superstar he'd coached at that level, his own franchise player back home. Kerr said he was used to watching that kind of work ethic from Steph, and that he thinks there's a reason those two are among the greatest of all time. It's not just talent, it's the work ethic, the attention to detail, and the force with which they practice that translates to how they play and how their teams play. Then came the moment that actually tested Kerr as LeBron's coach instead of just an admirer of his work ethic. The Serbia semifinal, Team USA fell behind by 13 points heading into the fourth quarter, staring down an upset that would have ended the gold medal streak. And it was LeBron, alongside Curry and Joel Embiid, who dragged them back from the brink. Kerr didn't sugarcoat how close they came to disaster, or how much of the recovery sat on LeBron's shoulders. That appreciation grew tenfold after James, Curry, and Embiid spearheaded a dazzling comeback that saved the US from what would have been a humbling and disappointing loss to Serbia in the semifinals. In the fourth quarter alone, LeBron dropped 6 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists, scoring twice on coast-to-coast layups off his own rebounds, while his defense on Nikola Jokic shut down Serbia's looks from 3. Kerr came away from that game sounding less like a coach giving a scouting report, and more like a guy who just watched something he'd remember for years. He said flatly that LeBron puts his imprint on the game in so many different ways, not just his skills, strength, and size, but his emotion, his confidence, the way he infuses the team with energy at 39 years old. By the time the gold medal game arrived against France, LeBron delivered again. 16 points, 12 rebounds, all defensive boards, and 10 assists, locking in on defense in the fourth quarter as the US pulled away. Kerr, again, had nothing but amazement left to give, calling out specifically how James guarded Jokic for most of the final period, and did all the little stuff defensively that most fans don't notice: the rebounding, the pushing the pace and transition. That's the relationship that existed long before any car window video. This wasn't a coach making things up about a player he barely knew. Kerr had already lived through a month of training camp, a white-knuckle semifinal, and a gold medal run standing shoulder to shoulder with LeBron James. He'd seen the work ethic up close. He'd trusted him with the ball in the biggest possession of the tournament. He'd called him, in his own words, someone who is just amazing to watch. So when that viral clip surfaced with Kerr grinning and saying, "We got him," it wasn't coming from nowhere. It was coming from a coach who had already spent an entire summer wondering what it would be like to have LeBron James on his roster full-time, not just for a few months in an Olympic jersey. And it turns out, according to people much closer to the Warriors organization than a random fan on the street, Kerr wasn't the only one who'd been thinking about it. If Kerr's roadside comment was the spark, the actual recruiting campaign had been running quietly for months. And it wasn't just the coach doing the talking, it was the players. Start with Steph Curry, because his fingerprints are all over this. The Warriors' furniture had been rearranged around one basic hope for a while now: that the chemistry Curry and LeBron built during that Olympic run in Paris wasn't a one-summer thing. There were plenty of reasons to believe the Warriors had a real chance to sign James, starting with the undeniable chemistry Curry and James showed during Team USA's gold medal run at the Paris Olympics, the same stretch where James first got familiar with Kerr as a head coach. That chemistry didn't stay buried in a locker room in France. Curry took it public, and not quietly either. He made his case for LeBron directly, on national television, in front of millions of people. Reporting on the situation noted plainly that Curry has made his pitch publicly and privately, going as far as making a direct free agent appeal to James on Good Morning America. That's not a subtle recruiting tactic. That's a Hall of Fame point guard going on a morning show to basically say, "Come play with me." But Curry wasn't running this alone. Draymond Green, the emotional engine of that Warriors locker room for over a decade, took his own shot at it. And he wasn't shy about admitting it either. During a shared vacation with LeBron, Draymond used the downtime to make his own pitch. He later talked about it openly on his own podcast, joking that he would have been crazy not to bring it up during that time together. Think about that for a second. Two all-NBA caliber players, one active Hall of Famer, one former Defensive Player of the Year, independently deciding that vacations and TV appearances were fair game for lobbying LeBron James. That's how badly this locker room wanted it, and the front office backed the players up with an actual roster move, not just words. Golden State went out and added a coach LeBron already trusted deeply, hiring former Lakers championship coach Frank Vogel onto Kerr's staff. The reporting was direct about what that signaled. The Warriors strengthened Kerr's coaching staff by hiring former Lakers championship coach Frank Vogel, another familiar face for James. That's not a coincidence hire. Vogel won a title with LeBron in the bubble. He knows how LeBron likes to be coached, how he likes his rotations managed late in games, how he processes criticism. Bringing him onto Kerr's bench wasn't just filling out a coaching staff. It was building a support system that LeBron would recognize the second he walked into the building. Put those three pieces together: Curry's public pitch, Draymond's vacation lobbying, and the Vogel hire, and you start to see why this wasn't dismissed as some fluke rumor. The organization's actual behavior lined up with the fantasy fans were chasing. As one report summarized it, the organization's persistence reflects how seriously it has pursued pairing two of the defining players of this generation. There's a reason this all felt believable enough for Kerr's four-word comment to detonate the way it did. Fans weren't just hoping based on nothing. They'd watched Curry go on TV. They'd heard Draymond admit to pestering LeBron on vacation. They'd watched the front office bring in LeBron's old championship coach. Every single piece of the puzzle they wanted was already sitting on the table before Kerr ever rolled down that car window. And it's worth pointing out just how loaded the fantasy roster got once you start doing the math. If it actually happened, LeBron wouldn't just be walking into a locker room with Curry. He'd be sharing it with Draymond Green, with Al Horford, potentially with Jimmy Butler still in the mix, depending on how the roster shakes out. One outlet spelled out exactly what that group could look like, noting that if there was truth to Kerr's remarks, James could potentially be teaming up with not only Curry, but also Draymond Green, Al Horford, and possibly Jimmy Butler. That's the kind of roster that doesn't just make the playoffs, that's a roster built to scare the rest of the league. Butler's two-way habits, Draymond's defense and playmaking, Horford's spacing and experience, Curry's gravity, and LeBron's basketball IQ all in the same starting five. No wonder Warriors fans were refreshing their timelines every 5 minutes after that clip dropped. But here's the complication: nobody in the Bay Area wanted to hear. The Warriors weren't the only team running this exact playbook, and according to the people who actually track these decisions for a living, Golden State wasn't even the frontrunner. For every headline about Kerr's roadside comment, there was another headline reminding everyone that Golden State was fighting an uphill battle against at least 4 other franchises, all of whom had their own version of a pitch ready to go. Start with the reporting that actually carries the most weight in these situations: the insiders who talk to teams directly. Dave McMenamin of ESPN went on the Rich Eisen show and gave a much more grounded read of where things stood. He noted that despite the Warriors' top 3 potential suitors being in the Eastern Conference, the Warriors couldn't be counted out of the race because people inside the franchise were still confident they could land the 41-year-old. Notice the phrasing there: top 3 suitors in the East. That's not a small detail. That's basically confirming Golden State was fighting from behind before Kerr ever said a word to that fan. Mark J. Spears backed up that same read from inside ESPN's own reporting, confirming that Warriors personnel genuinely believed internally they had a shot, even while acknowledging the East-heavy market for James's markets. Spears confirmed this internal perception within the Warriors, with several sources indicating the Warriors have a direct advantage in free agency due to the player's personal connections with LeBron James. But even that came with a caveat, because Golden State wasn't the only team leaning on personal relationships. Other teams, like the 76ers, have also been in contact with him personally. So right there you've got Philadelphia in the mix too, working their own angle. And the list didn't stop growing by the time Shams Charania, the same reporter Warriors fans joked Kerr had owned, weighed in with his own reporting. The picture widened even further. Charania's report indicated that LeBron had gathered what he needed and was closing in on a decision, laying out exactly who was still in play. Shams Charania reported that James had gathered the information he needed and was nearing a decision on where he will play his historic 24th NBA season, with 5 teams remaining under consideration: the Cleveland Cavaliers, Miami Heat, Philadelphia 76ers, Warriors, and Minnesota Timberwolves. 5 teams, not 2, not 3. 5 franchises all building a case for why their roster, their city, their coaching staff made the most sense for the final stretch of LeBron's career. Cleveland carries its own emotional pull. It's the franchise where his entire legacy started and where he's returned before. Miami has its own history too, a place LeBron once called home during 4 straight finals appearances. And one report noted the door there might not be as closed as people assumed, especially with Miami adding serious frontcourt talent. Thanks to Miami's recent acquisition of Giannis Antetokounmpo, James may be in the market for a reunion with Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra, and him paired with Antetokounmpo, Bam Adebayo, and Andrew Wiggins could be magic on the floor against now defending champions the New York Knicks and the Boston Celtics. Think about what that means. Even Miami's pitch involves the same coach Golden State had just poached. Spoelstra's fingerprints are on both sides of this thing, one way or another, given how close he and LeBron have been for years. And through all of that competition, the honest read from people covering this closely was that the East simply had more gravity pulling at LeBron than the Bay Area did. One report didn't dance around it, stating flatly that despite Golden State's aggressive recruitment, recent reporting suggests the Warriors remain long shots. That's a tough pill for a fan base that had just watched their coach seemingly confirm a done deal from behind a steering wheel. But it explains why so much of the reaction to Kerr's comment carried an undertone of desperate hope mixed with disbelief. Fans weren't just excited, they were bracing themselves, half expecting the whole thing to be a joke that would age badly by the time the real decision came down. Even the outlets covering the roadside video most closely couldn't help but note the obvious tension between the hype and the odds. One piece framed the entire situation as a coach having fun with a moment that fans desperately wanted to be real, while acknowledging the deeper picture. It described how all eyes in the NBA world were on LeBron James, with the Cleveland Cavaliers, Miami Heat, and Philadelphia 76ers believed to be the frontrunners to secure his services, while the Golden State Warriors had been one of the teams in the mix as well, with head coach Steve Kerr having some fun with fans who mentioned going after LeBron. So that's where things stood, a viral car window clip, a coach who genuinely coached LeBron before and clearly enjoyed every minute of it, a locker room that had been quietly campaigning for months through TV appearances and vacation pitches, and a coaching hire built specifically with LeBron in mind. And on the other side of the ledger, 3 Eastern Conference heavyweights and 1 more Western Conference dark horse, all working just as hard, with insiders suggesting the numbers actually favored them over Golden State. Everything was set up for a decision. The only thing left was to see what LeBron actually did with it, and whether Kerr's 4 words from behind that car window would turn out to be a lucky guess, an inside joke, or something closer to the truth. So where does this actually leave things? The video is still out there, racking up views, still being replayed by fans convinced they've caught a coach accidentally leaking the biggest signing of the offseason. And the truth is, nobody outside that inner circle can say for certain what Kerr actually knew in that moment. Most people close to the situation lean toward the same read, that Kerr was simply enjoying a moment with a fan, not sitting on confidential information he decided to hand over at a red light. The general consensus from people who track these situations for a living was that Kerr may simply have been joking with the fan, or playing along with the moment rather than revealing confidential information. And given the informal setting of the exchange, the remark couldn't be treated as confirmation of any impending move. But even with that caveat, the clip did exactly what it needed to do. It kept LeBron's free agency and Golden State's place in it at the center of the conversation for another news cycle. It gave fans something to hold on to, gave rival fan bases something to mock, and gave every NBA outlet a reason to publish another update on a story that, frankly, refuses to slow down. Coverage of the moment made that much clear, closing out with the reminder that until an official announcement is made, the viral clip remains just another chapter in this summer's rumor mill, ensuring LeBron James rumors remain firmly in the spotlight as the basketball world awaits definitive news. What's not up for debate is the part that actually matters most for Golden State's case. The relationship between Kerr and LeBron isn't manufactured. It isn't wishful thinking dressed up for a highlight reel. It's built on an actual month of practices in Las Vegas, a white-knuckle semifinal comeback against Serbia, and a gold medal earned together in Paris. Kerr watched LeBron work in a way that stunned him, trusted him with the ball in the biggest moments of that tournament, and walked away from that summer, calling him incredible, more than once, without being asked to. That's the piece of this story that goes beyond a viral clip. Curry's public pitch on national television, Draymond's admitted lobbying on vacation, The front office bringing in Frank Vogel specifically because he's a coach LeBron already trusts. None of that happened by accident. Golden State built an actual case, piece by piece, long before a fan ever leaned out a car window. Whether or not that case wins out against Cleveland's history, Miami's roster additions, Philadelphia's personal contact, or Minnesota's outside shot, is still sitting with one person and one person only. And that's really the position everyone's in right now, including Kerr himself, who by every account genuinely wants this to happen, has genuinely earned the right to want it after everything that Olympic run gave him, and still has to sit back like everyone else and wait on a decision only LeBron can make. As it stands, the reporting closes on the same note it's been on for weeks. Whether the punchline becomes reality now rests with James alone. Until that decision comes down, the car window clip stays exactly what it is. 4 words, a grin, and a fan base that can't stop replaying it, hoping the coach who once said coaching LeBron was better than competing against him gets the chance to do it every night instead of just for one Olympic summer. Sources: Steve Kerr's viral roadside video and fan reaction. IB Times UK. Steve Kerr jokes about Warriors getting LeBron James. Fadeaway world. Steve Kerr's 7-word response goes viral. Heavy.com. Steve Kerr responds to Warriors fan. Yahoo Sports. Did Steve Kerr just leak LeBron James is headed to Warriors? Men's Journal. Steve Kerr tells fans the Warriors got LeBron James. The big lead. Steve Kerr responds to fans about bringing LeBron James to Warriors. Bleacher Report. LeBron James, Steve Kerr mutual respect reaches new heights. NBC Sports Bay Area. LeBron James is relishing this moment in Paris. Kerr enjoying the view. Yahoo Sports USA Today. https://sports.u.com/LeBron James relishing moment. Paris 60,036,644.html.